tacos, roller skates, and Betties helped one organization roll in some cash. A building that was once a major music venue in the area is for sale, and the Sycamore Men's Sober House is underwater. We'll explain. NTC News Tonight starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source. On the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center, this is NTC News Tonight.
Members of the DeKalb community are raising money for a good cause. Good evening, I'm Alex Isom. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Satta, Kendor. A team of DeKalb's toughest ladies have also rolled in to help. NTC reporter Satta Cook attended the Freedom Soup.
After hearing of a local nonprofit's monetary struggles, a team of DeKalb's toughest women rolled in to help. Freedom Soup, American Legion, and the Barbed Wire Betties all hosted a different kind of fundraiser.
And we are running a kind of a fundraiser taco bar to help raise money for Freedom Soup. And the Barbed Wire Betties, they've helped us out quite a bit. So this is our second event that we've done with them. So that's pretty much what it is, fundraiser, just to try and raise a little bit of extra money.
With the space provided by the American Legion, the food by Freedom Soup, and the Betties acting as the hostesses, this recipe for a great night had the best ingredients.
When we learned that they lost their biggest sponsor and the funding with the state of Illinois, we thought, why not have a party and get some donations for Freedom Soup?
Asking for a $5 donation upon arrival, Freedom Soup catered the event, which included a variety of meats, toppings, and sides. Supporters from both the community and the university showed up to enjoy the food and each other's company. But we had to ask, what is roller derby?
Yeah, roller derby is the best. It's so much fun. I've heard it described as a cross between football, hockey, and chess. It's kind of a race. It's a big contact sport, but you have to do quick stops and quick starts, and a lot of strategery goes in there as well.
For more information on all these organizations, feel free to search them on Facebook. With NTC News, I'm Satta Cook.
Thanks, Satta. Sounds like the Barbed Wire Betties rolled in the fun.
Repairs are set for a men's sober house in Sycamore. Repairs are set for a men's sober house in Sycamore. Pipes in the house burst after furnaces went out earlier this year, leading to major water damage. This incident is just the latest of a series of delays for the project, which began last year when the city purchased the house and planned its refurbishment. The men's sober living facility is located on East State Street and is set to open this summer.
It's a very unfortunate thing. It's frustrating because they were starting to make progress to try to really get that home open so we can start helping people. Because that's the main point. We want to start helping people, divert them from jail, get them the drug treatment that they really need. And every little thing like this causes a further delay. So we want to try to get this.
From sober home to nightclub, one community staple is in the need of repair. The building that formerly housed Otto's nightclub is up for sale. The building located on the corner of Lincoln Highway and 1st Street is for sale for more than $500,000. According to the 2015 appraiser's report, the building is in poor condition and not deemed for occupancy. The report states that the building should be demolished, but the Freedom of Information Act report shows the demolition would cost more than the lot is worth. The city of DeKalb is not considering buying the building at this time.
Brian Bemis Toyota may stay in DeKalb after a $1.5 million agreement. The agreement between Bemis and the city of DeKalb comes after the dealership was ready to move to Sycamore. The city of DeKalb will cover 70% of the cost for Bemis to be renovated. DeKalb could face a loss of $150,000 in annual sales tax revenue if Bemis Toyota decides to leave. DeKalb City Mayor John Ray says giving the dealership funding needed for renovations was a better idea than losing the company.
New jobs are coming to DeKalb. The Target Distribution Center will hire 450 applicants this spring. The hiring means adding new equipment and product lines. Carson Lansgard, Target Senior Vice President of Distribution, says he's looking forward to this expansion in the Midwest. Job openings are available in packaging, shipping, and equipment operations.
It's getting warmer outside, so you may want to take advantage of the DeKalb Nature Trail. The trail is closing temporarily for repairs to power lines. MJ Electric will be lowering power lines on 4 towers for repairs starting on Friday. The company plans on laying down wooden planks to preserve the path during work. No trees will be removed or trimmed during renovation. Work will continue through April 4th.
Through there, so when they need to do their work, they give us a heads up and then they come in and do their work.
Cigarettes and free access to Katz Park may be restricted. The DeKalb Park District may implement more membership fees to the dog park and prohibit smoking on park grounds. The membership fee would help provide new amenities and generate revenue for the park district. If the fees are implemented, all animals using the park must have current vaccinations, which could increase safety.
A 4-year degree from NIU is getting a little more affordable. Students who are currently enrolled at Kishwaukee College are able to remain for a 3rd year and do their 4th year at NIU online, on campus, or a combination of both, thanks to an agreement between the schools.
Opportunities on a global basis. So this degree is going to take you to different places, will give you wonderful careers, and NIU is a good program that once again believes in affordability, accessibility, and in diversity. We are creating excellent engineers for this region, and majority of our graduates stay in this region.
Right now, the deal only covers those obtaining a bachelor's degree in industrial management and technology.
Making it easier to transfer credit seems to make a lot of sense. A big change is coming to the DeKalb High School as well. The DeKalb School Board is taking action following a controversial assembly held at the high school. The DeKalb School Board met on Tuesday to vote on the resignation of Principal Tamara Ropter. The board unanimously approved a resignation agreement with Ropter. Ropter was placed on paid administrative leave following racial tensions that erupted during a Black History Month assembly. Superintendent Doug Moeller will remain principal of DeKalb High School for the remainder of the school year.
3 men were arrested in connection to a shooting that occurred in the Home Student Center last week. The alleged shooter, Malik Cunningham, from the 900 block of Crane Drive, is suspected for firing a single shot over spring break after an argument broke out. The shot was towards someone leaving the area. Cunningham could face up to 30 years in prison. Investigators recovered a shell casing at the scene. Almost no students were on campus at the time due to spring break, and no one was injured during the shooting.
A heroin overdose is the cause of DeKalb County inmate's death. Brandon Washington's death was originally suspected from drinking jailhouse hooch, but an autopsy now shows that a heroin overdose is the reason behind it. DeKalb County Sheriff Roger Scott says drug use is a common problem at jailhouses across the country.
So it's possible that someone may have smuggled that in, was able to hide it in an area of their body that we were not able to search or didn't search at that moment in time, and eventually worked its way into the possession of Mr. Washington.
Washington was in jail after being convicted of attempted murder in 2010.
The Flint, Michigan water crisis has caused residents to become more concerned about the quality of their water supply. Reporter Alex Isom has more about the water supply quality in DeKalb.
The DeKalb Water Division tests for over 13,000 samples in the water supply annually. Majority of the samples are bacteriological analysis. Chlorine, fluoride, iron, and phosphate are tested on a daily basis. DeKalb draws water from 9 different wells, and officials say they take preventative measures to make sure the water stays safe.
We do a lot of preemptive testing or preventive maintenance on things, or monitoring of our softeners to make sure that they're softening properly, make sure that regenerations are going as they should, the valves are working properly.
The water crisis in Flint, Michigan started after switching water sources. The state decided to switch Flint's water supply from Lake Huron to Flint River. The water was not properly treated, which caused lead to start leaching into the water supply. Officials in DeKalb believe the water crisis in Flint would be hard to occur here.
Here in DeKalb, we get our water just from groundwater. We're not pulling from a river or a lake, which is what happened in Flint. We get our water from the ground, which is very pure water. and very consistent water, and in terms of the water quality, really doesn't change.
DeKalb's water testing lab is state certified by the Illinois Department of Health. The lab allows officials to see results right away. Lab supervisor suggests residents take extra steps to make sure their water is safe.
The longer water sits in your pipes undisturbed, the higher the probability it could start to leach out some of the metals in the pipe. So I always say, when you go to take a drink of water, let it run for a second, for a minute, and make sure it's good and cold, and then you got good fresh water.
The Water Division occasionally tests water for private wells, county health departments, or other municipalities. For NTC News, I'm Alex Isom.
Thanks, Alex. With the recent water crisis in Flint, it's good to know DeKalb is trying to make sure our water stays clean.
Absolutely. And Water Division officials say things like water filters can be helpful to keep our water safe as well. Weather radios may be the hot item heading into the tornado season. NIU held its monthly STEM Cafe series on Tuesday. This month's event addressed the tornado education. Last April, an F4 tornado tore through Rochelle and Fairdale, leaving major damage in its wake. Walker Ashley, NIU's associate professor of meteorology, talked about how he chased the tornado. Ashley says it is important to be prepared when severe weather hits.
Most importantly, I think the way to keep abreast of an emergent situation would be through something called a weather radio. Those usually cost between $25 and $35, and they will alert you in the event of an emergency situation.
Ashley also dispelled the myth that tornadoes can't occur in major metropolitan areas like Chicago. He went on to explain just how disastrous a F5 tornado would be if it hit the city's downtown loop.
We estimated that where original tornado path affected about 60 to 100 homes, that particular event would impact well over 20,000 homes.
And as we are twisting into tornado season, it's good to be prepared for any type of weather condition.
You're right, Alex. Emery Dhanens is at the Weather Center right now. How's the weather looking, Emery?
This week is going to be much cooler than recent weeks, so don't put away those jackets just yet. We could even see another chance for some snow later this week. But first, let's take a look at Thursday, where we'll see much cooler temperatures with cloudy skies and rainy conditions. To hear about the potential for upcoming winter weather, stay with us. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you all made the best of the very gloomy day we saw today. Felt very chilly out there with those overcast skies and gusty winds, but our temperatures were near normal for this time of year, a high of about 47 degrees. But again, those winds out of the northeast gusting to 23 miles per hour made it feel very chilly, and those high winds are going to stick around over the next couple of days. Let's take a look at the larger scale to see what we have in store for the next few days. Today we had this low pressure system and associated cold front, which is going to help bring some storms in this area. But for us here in DeKalb, we can expect some rain tonight, and as we go into Thursday, that low will move towards our area, and Thursday we'll expect to see more rain and then possibly some snow in the overnight hours as those temperatures drop below freezing. And then as we go into Friday, that low will move off and we'll expect to see sunny skies for Friday. Now let's take it back to tonight, where we'll see partly cloudy skies with a chance of rain and an overnight low of about 37 degrees. But note those winds are gusting from the east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour, so very windy out there. Those winds are going to continue into Thursday, where we'll see more clouds and a high of about 40 degrees. Could see some fog in the morning and will likely see some rain throughout the day. Then as we go into Thursday night, that rain could turn into snow as those temperatures drop below freezing. Overnight low of about 26 degrees. Pretty chilly out there, and those winds are still gusting about 30 miles per hour Thursday night, so it'll be very chilly out there. If you have to go out on Thursday night, be sure you are prepared with those hat, gloves, scarves, whatever you need to do. It'll be pretty chilly out there on Thursday night. Now let's take a look at our 5-day forecast. Again, Thursday, chance of rain turning into snow in the overnight hours, high of about 40 degrees. Friday, a little better, high of 47 with those sunnier conditions. Then Saturday, possibly around 53 degrees, but it will be rainy possibly on Saturday. Sunday, same thing, chance of rain, and Monday as well. But those temperatures are not exactly what we want to see. We're expecting these warm temperatures since it's spring, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be warm. So I know we were spoiled with those 50 and 60 degree days, but it's not like that's going to happen all the time. So just be prepared that we are going to be seeing temperatures still in the 40s, so do keep your jackets handy. That's all for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
It could be illegal for anyone under 21 to buy tobacco in Illinois.
And a new bill can fully fund MAP grants for college students. These are today's state lines.
A new bill would raise the age from 18 to 21 to purchase tobacco in Illinois. State Senator John Mulrow is sponsoring the bill with hopes that it will help decrease the number of young smokers. According to the Preventing Tobacco Addiction Foundation, more than 130 have raised the smoking age to 21.
A bill which would fully fund MAP grants is heading to the Illinois House of Representatives next month. The bill will not only fully fund the Monetary Assistance Program, but it will help fund other grants and assist higher education. It would cost almost $4 billion and will be reviewed on April 4th.
Senator Mark Kirk is the first Republican to call for the U.S. Senate to vote on President Obama's nominee for a new justice. Republican lawmakers are pushing for Obama to wait for the nomination until the new president is elected. The vacancy is left after Justice Antonin Scalia died in February. President Obama nominated Illinois native Merrick Garland for the position.
A Rockford hockey player is facing felony charges after allegedly sharing sexual images. Garrett Ross has been charged with non-consensual dissemination of sexual images, and if convicted can face up to 3 years in jail. The Rockford Ice Hogs, the Blackhawks minor league team, removed Ross from their lineup over the weekend.
The world shows unity in the wake of a deadly terror attack.
And a goodwill mission rekindles an old debate. Here's what's happening in today's World Watch.
Thousands gathered tonight in Brussels to grieve and show their support for the survivors of yesterday's deadly terrorist attack. 30 people are dead and over 200 have been wounded after explosions. Devastated the Brussels International Airport and the city's Malbec metro train station. One suspect is still at large, while the other 3 suspects were killed during the suicide bombings.
Barack Obama became the first U.S. president to visit Cuba since Calvin Coolidge in 1928. On Monday, Obama met with President Raul Castro and addressed both the Cuban and American audiences from Havana. During the president's 40-minute speech, Obama stressed the needs of change and freedom for the Cuban people.
I believe citizens should be free to speak their mind without fear, to organize and to criticize their government, and to protest peacefully.
Bernie Sanders picked up 2 crucial wins last night in Idaho and Utah, while Hillary Clinton extended her lead by winning Arizona's Democratic primary. On the Republican side, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz split the votes in Guam in the state primaries, with Trump taking Arizona and Cruz winning Utah. The Democratic nominees won't have time to celebrate before moving on to both Hawaii and Alaska in time for Saturday's primaries. The next Republican primary is scheduled for April 3rd.
Detroit's high school seniors will be the first to receive free college tuition. Graduating seniors that get accepted to any of the city's community colleges won't be charged a cent. The Detroit Promise Zone program will be in charge of the initiative. The group says the funds will come from a private scholarship initially, but will move to tax funds in 2018. The group hopes the program will eventually cover the cost of four-year universities for Detroit's youth. And that's today's World Watch.
Barack Obama. Not A. Welcome back to NTC Sports. I'm Ryan Mack. It's been a couple of weeks now since our last broadcast, and a lot is happening in the world of sports right now, including the NCAA tournament. We'll take a closer look at that in a bit, but first, let's look at the Chicago Blackhawks game from yesterday. They took on the Dallas Stars, the #1 team in the Western Conference. Now, these are two of the best teams in the league right now, so it's no surprise it's a hard-fought game. Dallas actually clinched a playoff spot with this win. Let's take a look at some of those highlights. Before the start of the game, a moment of silence for the victims in the attack in Brussels. Now let's move over to the first period. The Stars have the puck, and Colton Stever soars an awkward shot from behind the net. Let's take another look at that. Looks like he's trying to pass out. The puck hits Scott Darling and goes in. Dallas gets ahead big in the first. It's 3-0 here, and Vernon Fiddler gets out in front and puts the puck past Scott Darling to make it a 4-0 game. And it's hard to come back from something like that. Andrew Shaw knocks in a shot with his stick in the second period. Let's take another look at that. A nice tap in, a little awkward by Shaw there. The Hawks couldn't come back. 2-on-1 break now. The Stars put another goal in to solidify the win. The Hawks end up losing this game 6-2. Well, we saw a historic baseball game played yesterday. President Obama and Cuban President Raul Castro were in the stands to watch the Tampa Bay Rays play the Cuban national team yesterday in Cuba. Now, this is the first time an American team has been to Cuba in 15 years, over 15 years. The game looked like a big hit for all the fans in the stadium. Let's take a look at that. Here's President Obama with his family before the game. They sat with the Cuban president in the best seats in the house, right behind home plate. The Rays went up by 1 in the second inning, but here in the top of the fourth, James Loney hits a 2-run shot to the right side to put the Rays up by 3. And not much happens between then and the ninth, but bottom of the ninth, Cuba's Rudy Reyes gives the fans something to cheer about. He hits a solo homer out to left field, and the fans go nuts. But that was all Cuba had. The Rays end up winning this one 4-1. Now let's move over to the NBA. The Milwaukee Bucks and Detroit Pistons game on Monday came down to the final seconds. So this is today's play of the day. The Bucks lead by 1 with 7.5 seconds left. Pistons inbound. Caldwell Pope takes the three-pointer. He misses, but Andre Drummond is there to tip it back in for the game winner. Let's take another look. The missed three-pointer, and Drummond takes charge of this game as he taps in that bucket. The Pistons win by 1, and Andre Drummond takes away today's play of the day. So if your March Madness bracket looks anything like mine, it's in shambles. Michigan State losing to Middle Tennessee State turned everyone's bracket upside down. But that's the madness of March, right? Here's a quick look at the Sweet 16. One game to definitely keep an eye out for is the matchup between the reigning champions, the Duke Blue Devils, against the top-seeded Oregon Ducks. Watch that tomorrow at 9:07 p.m. Another game to be sure to watch is a one-seed Kansas Rock Chalk Jayhawks take on the Maryland Terrapins. That is also tomorrow evening at 8:40. Well, the NIU men's basketball team is also playing in the Vegas 16 tournament, so be sure to catch the NIU games on CBS Sports Network. That's all for sports today. Don't forget to check out our show, Top Shelf Sports, on Monday. Mike Poyer will be back for more NTC Sports this same time on Wednesday. Thanks for watching and have a great week.
A pair of officers from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office shares how they train. You're watching NTC News Tonight.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
One team from DeKalb County is training to always be prepared, and we are not talking about a sports team.
This is Odin. He's a 3-year-old German Shepherd who was awarded a stab and bulletproof vest from vested interest in canines.
It's a non-for-profit company that all they do is collect donations and do fundraisers for police canines, military canines.
Officer Johnson knows receiving this vest will help Odin in the field. Records show that 26 dogs died in total of 2015. 11 of those deaths came from heat exhaustion and 15 were from other causes.
Try to do when you train is, so like when we do the bite work, we'll do like a real thin bite sleeve and then we'll put on like hoodies and jeans so the dog thinks it's, because dogs know when somebody's like wearing a big bite suit or a big bite sleeve versus they're not wearing anything at all. So, but yeah, we go to neighborhoods. We go to neighborhoods up in Rockford, DeKalb. We come out here to the college and train. It's anywhere we can go.
Even with training, Officer Johnson knows there always will be a danger.
Was that unknown?
Not accounting for the unknown, Officer Johnson expects Odin to be around for 10 more years. From NTC News in Malta, I'm Walter Douglas.
That's one adorable cop that does a lot of outdoor training.
He sure does. Let's send it back to Emery, Dhanens for one last look at the weather.
Don't forget, high temperatures this week will generally be in the 40s with the exception possibly of Saturday, but since it is officially spring, we're thinking it should be nice and warm, but it's still going to be chilly, so keep those jackets out, and this weekend you might want to keep that umbrella handy as well.
NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. We want to thank you for being with us.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back the same time next week. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone.